My opponent spends full time talking about just kind of diminishing who we are as America and talking down at people, talking about, I don't know, that we're the garbage can of the world. We're not.
Kamala Harris going in on Donald Trump and that closing rally message that we heard last night. There she was speaking in Michigan. We're joined now by James Carville, legendary Democratic strategist. His new piece in the Times is is where he says why I'm certain Kamala Harris will win. We'll get to that. But welcome, James. 8 days out. As I've tried to do each night here, I go through the numbers. I'm curious your thoughts on the high turnout, some of the other themes. But let's start with that question I raised. What Donald Trump and his team, selected by him, vetted by him, way too late in the season and the hour to claim you didn't know who you were putting on that very big stage. His team and what he and they argued last night. Your thoughts?
I lost the sound. Well, my thoughts are this. I looked at it, and, you know, they came after women. I said nothing because I'm not a woman. They came after Puerto Ricans. I said nothing because I'm not a Puerto Rican. They came after black people. I said nothing because I'm not black. But then they came after watermelons. That's where James Carville comes out of his chair. Okay, next thing you know, they're going to come after gumbo, and they're going to take our gumbo away from us. It was so disgusting. It was so racist. It was so misogynistic. The only way to deal with this is through humor. If you try to deal with it by being serious, you'll just get so mad and so raged you can't see. So you're gonna have to take my cold dead hands off my watermelon. I can tell you that right now. We're not going there.
There you go. Spoken like the Raging Cajun. Let's link it to the math. There's a lot that goes on. We've lived through a lot.
Right.
But the math is the factual history. Donald Trump did about 46% in 16 and got the Electoral College. He did about 46% in 20 and lost. And I ask you, did what we see and saw and lived just tonight and through the rally last night, does that help him get up over that 46% ceiling he's had?
He lost in 2018. He lost in 2020. He lost in 2022. The Democrats have won every election that's been held in the last 2 years. Trump is a giant loser. And the sooner people acknowledge that and know that it's true, they stop fearing him. The stuff last night was so over the top, it's unbelievable. Let me just one little factoid here. You know how many Puerto Rican voters there are in Pennsylvania? 273,000. This is going to cost him votes, and a substantial Puerto Rican vote, also in Michigan. And I've worked. These are very prideful people. They describe the Puerto Ricans first. They describe that is their identity marker. And this is a community that is not going to take well to this. I promise you. And there's a ton in Florida, which is going to end up being a lot closer than anybody thinks. But have Steve Kornacki look around and see how many Puerto Rican voters there are in swing states. There's a lot, and they much more identify with their island than almost anybody else around the world. I promise you that.
And look, I don't do a ton of generalizations. I'll say most people, when you attack them for who they are, where they come from, or you try to paint them all with one brush, most people don't find that a very appealing closing argument or a respectful way to engage. I want to go to the numbers again, because now we're in it. I mean, almost a third of people voted from the last electorate numerically. People are voting right now. We're in it. We won't have the results till later. The Republicans, as you know, have made a big deal out of showing a type of confidence or hype or bluster. In 22, they even tried to pollute the sort of polling markets to that effect. We've heard a lot more talk on the right about they're going to win. Your op-ed and some of what you've been saying lately is a more confident model than the anxiety we've heard from Democrats. If you go to the popular vote over the years, I want to show this because it's a point you and others have said. Nationally, Republicans don't usually get the total vote. They don't usually win more votes. This is how many times people have picked, more people have picked the Democrat for the White House. And then the 2020 map, why don't you walk us through this, James? Do you see Harris holding this winning coalition, this map, or how would it be different, you think?
Probably, I mean, to be honest, in a macro sense, we may not do, there's a lot of talk, we may not do as well with non-white voters as we did in 2020 in terms of turnout, in terms of total vote. It might be a little bit off. But anyway, I think whites are really, just to give you my analysis, college white males tend to be a lot more pro-choice than other males, and they also have something to lose in this economy. And there's a lot of non-college white women who are very pro-choice, and a lot of Hispanic women. That people think that's why we held on and won Nevada in 2022. So this entire reproductive rights thing has not germinated like it's going to do on election day, and people in early voting. And you see all this early vote analysis, to the person, they all say it's more heavily female than it should be. And I'm not surprised by that. And it makes me happy. We're going to win. Okay, this is not the country I live in. This is just, I refuse to believe that. We're going to win because this is not who we are. There are other reasons. You pointed out brilliantly, the surrogate game, we're 98-2 up. We have every kind of surrogate you can think of. Entertainment surrogates, cultural surrogates, political surrogates, athletic surrogates. Our cup runneth over, and they help coming down the stretch because you can deploy them in many different places, and they can, like Beyonce did. So I'm very encouraged. I'm very comfortable with my prediction, my certainty that we're going to win, because we're going to win, baby. We're just going to win this thing.
Yeah. Viewers of The Beat know we don't spin our wheels much on a lot of these big early polls. You have to follow the facts. But the early vote is not a poll, and it's up. Do you think that means more people are just voting earlier, and we've had all these COVID evolutions, or do you think this is going to be a very high turnout election? Because if it's high turnout and high turnout among women, then Harris is in a good spot.
I'm not an election voter predictor on turnout, but it sure seems to me that there's increasing Democratic enthusiasm. Just give you just a little factoid. The Washington Post lost 200,000 subscribers. That's 200,000 people that actually went and clicked onto something, and they had to go through some rigmarole to cancel a subscription. You think that's not an indication of energy? And I know it's Northern Virginia and, Chevy Chase and D.C., but that tells me a lot.
Energy, yeah.
And that tells me that there's feeling out there, and there's depth of feeling. I keep hearing, and you point out so well, you got these I just got to be fair. Harris could have had a better language on Biden, but then again, Trump's director of national intelligence, a lifelong Republican, said he thinks he's a Russian agent. Oh, okay, well, just tell the truth on both. What difference it make? I mean, could have given a better answer. Is an agent of an adversarial foreign power. What's the difference, James? We just tell the truth. If America goes down, it's going to be because of all of these people that couldn't help but tell the truth.